Well, if headline didn't bite this person in the ass, I don't know what else did. This was a shocker to wake up to. I'm saying that a little bit ironically, actually. Again, Me Too activist Aisha Argento, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, settled sexual assault complaint for $300,000. Report says. Oh, so she was paying off victims of sexual assault, and she is the face of the Me Too movement. Let's dig a little bit deeper because the juice is right at the top here. Italian actress Asia Argento recently settled a complaint filed against her by a young actor and musician, Jimmy Bennett, who said she sexually assaulted him when he was 17. The New York Times reported 42-year-old Argento settled a notice of intent to sue filed by Jimmy Bennett, who is now 22, for $380,000 shortly after she said last time October that movie mogul Harvey Weinstein raped her, the Times reported. Holy shit. So the girl that says she was raped by Harvey Weinstein has apparently sexually assaulted, I assume, which is meaning rape in this case, a 17-year-old, and now she's paying him off.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that this is like, I mean, as much as I do want to shit, and it is really ironic that she's the one like paying off, like someone that she supposedly like raped or sexually assaulted. But here's the thing: like in most states, like the age of consent's like 16, but California is a little bit weird and it's 18. So yeah, like technically it was statutory rape, but in like any other state that would be like fine, except for like as long as it wasn't filmed. Even then, like some of that stuff doesn't really make too much sense. But either way, it's just incredibly ironic, and especially when you see she's like the type of like she's in charge of this whole movement against sexual assault, but she's like doing the same sort of things that Harvey Weinstein has done, paying off someone that she supposedly sexually assaulted. And yeah, it's just like really ironic, and the left eating themselves. So I just love this story. And like speaking of things recently that happened, like where it goes complete full circle. I kind of find this interesting. I don't know if you've heard the news is something a little bit unrelated, but Mundane Matt, he was the guy in charge of Gamergate, and the whole thing started out with him accusing someone of like getting his video pulled down. When in fact they found out that his videos have been like he's been false flagging people himself.
Yeah.
So it's just I guess it's a week of spinning it around full circle. So maybe we'll see. I just kind of found that ironic, but like on the one hand with this particular case with the Me Too activists, I think that it's like on one hand it's just like 17. He's pretty much an adult at that point. Yeah. Like people are having sex at 17. Like at least in Pennsylvania, like there's 16-year-old. Like I knew my neighbor was I had someone who lived in my neighborhood who was engaging in intercourse with the principal of I think the middle school, but she was like 17 or 18 when they got caught, so nothing was done because that was completely legal somehow, which I don't think it should be legal in this state at all if you bang an educator like that you were educated by. I just don't like that, especially if you're like even if I think she was 18, but still, like I know it started beforehand. But like most states, they allow you like 17 they're considered an adult. Like most people are having sex by like 16, 17, 18. But she knew the laws, and it was an immigrant. She was an Italian actress, so I kind of find that interesting too. Of course, they're probably not going to make a big deal because she's an immigrant and they can't do anything wrong.
An immigrant and a woman.
Oh yeah, like they don't want to go and talk about the women who are like rapists, but yeah. I'm not really sure about this. So they say he did say he was traumatized and it hurt his career, which that is wrong. Like if you're above somebody like in a career path and then you like use that as a leverage to go and get into their pants, that's wrong. Call it rape. Call it sexual assault. I think it's disgusting. Bill Clinton did it to
Monica, Jennifer, Paula, and Kathleen.
Specifically, Monica is the one that was the big deal that like he admitted to. He ended up like lying about, but was proven false that he actually did have sex with her or sexual relations with that woman. But like that, see, that's like a level. I think it's something on the deviant sexual intercourse. This is deviant sexual intercourse, and it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for that guy because the male victims of sexual, violence and assaults and rapes by women, they're very rarely heard of. And they're like, I was on a Facebook thing today, and they were like talking about these angel shots, and then someone's like, "Oh, they should allow men to use that too," and then they just got attacked.
Oh
Like men
shit.
don't have like it's just like men don't have any problems in this world. It's like, oh yeah, men don't ever get like raped or put into dangerous situations by women. Yeah, you know what? Like what was it? Shakespeare said that like something about a woman scorned.
Love have
Like
no fury like a woman scorned.
oh yeah, like that's they. No one wants to talk about that, but that's pretty true. Like you do not want to piss off a woman, and if the woman's above you and she wants to be on top of you or you on top of
Literally.
her, you're put in a really bad situation with this, and it's like really hard, especially when it's your career on the line. I'd have hated to be in that guy's situation. I know many people are like, "Oh, I wish I could be that guy banging some Italian actress," but like, do you really like
It's not
really?
love. It's not, intimate. Like, what I want to make clear though is like obviously what Harvey Weinstein did is disgusting too. Before anybody in the comments fucking says like, "Oh, you guys are going soft on him." No, we've already talked shit on him before. You can check previous Real News episodes. But the thing is that the problem we have with the left, the problem we have with a lot of these other groups and these feminists is that they only focus on one thing and they act like it's all men are rapists, men are only rapists, and it's they're evil people. And I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but if you listen to these feminists, that's what they say. And I'm not. Men obviously aren't all rapists. Obviously, men are doing more raping than women. But let's talk about the women rape problem because it could become a bigger problem. I
I
don't
don't.
know.
I don't know how much women are rapists actually, or like sexual assaulters. And then another thing that women do. I don't know if you remember this a few years ago. There's this big thing about like what was it, ghosting or the condoms, where like you pretend to take it off,
Oh, that's dirty.
like
Jesus.
stealthing. Yeah, but like the thing that no one ever talks about is women have been doing the same sort of
With the
thing.
pill.
Oh yeah, they say, oh I didn't take, oh I forgot to take the pill. Oh, the holes in the condom. I've known some who had that happen to them. And then most of the times, even in those situations, the guy's still on the hook for child support. Let's talk about that. These are men's rights issues that the left completely throws aside, and it's the men who have to go and deal with this. Like I think there's a story of some woman, like a teacher, and especially look in the news. Like 9 out of 10 times now, it seems in the news it's a female teacher raping a male student or having sex.
Yeah.
Statutory rape, whatever you want to call it. That's a really big issue, and the men who are in those relationships, they tend to not do too well after those. But they all, like the women who are in trouble for that, they usually get off, with a slap on the wrist relative to the man. Because you see like a male teacher raping someone, which is wrong too, but they end up doing a lot more time than the woman teacher who's sexually, involved with a student. And it's just despicable. They completely throw this under the rug. They pretend it's not there. And like, was it like domestic violence? I always make that to be a man's issue. Like, oh, men commit more domestic violence than women. Well, actually, it's pretty close to 50-50 with that, if not
Yeah.
more so with the women. But men just don't report it. Because if they report it, they feel ashamed and no one will listen to them. Oh, it's fine. But like, if a woman goes and throws a knife at you or a pot, it's going to hurt. If a man throws a knife or a pot at you, you're still going to be hurt. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. It depends. Because you don't want to piss off a woman. Like I mean, I've been in a relation before where I was like smacked around and stuff, but like I never made a big deal about it. I mean, maybe I should have because there's a lot of bad things for that one relationship. But just society as a whole, I'd be laughed at. If you even talk about these things.
But yeah, and the last thing I'll mention real quick is that, and you kind of alluded to it a bit, which is Title IX. Well, let's look at a sort of a reverse of this, where women say they're raped, and they throw this accusation out there, which many times it's probably credible, but there are a significant number of cases where they throw the accusation out there. Guys get kicked out of colleges, their lives are ruined, they don't get jobs, and they're miserable and tired and depressed for a crime they didn't commit. And they find out later, through some test or whatever, that the accuser was lying and it was total BS. So there's a case where they don't even have to do it. And it gets turned against them, and people's lives are ruined. That's the problem with the Me Too thing also, is that it is great that this thing happened in the sense that a lot of these not really the pedophiles, they haven't gotten to those yet, but a lot of these rapists and high levels of Hollywood that control people, like Harvey Weinstein, like I think prevent Ashley Judd from getting in Lord of the Rings because she wouldn't sleep with him and let him do his business in the pod plant, and she lost her job because of that on Lord of the Rings, which is one of the biggest franchises of all time. And with Title IX, it's they don't have to no rape is happening and people's lives are ruined just because somebody said something. And the Me Too thing took down a lot of big names, but it can go too far and take down people that did nothing wrong. So you got to be careful with this sort of thing. It's very touchy.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. It's pretty touchy. But
Pun
no,
unintended.
but no, like with this case, I know people be like, "Oh, well, it's just accusations." Well, they have pictures of that's been claimed to be authentic, like with her and him in the bed sexually. Like, I mean, this is pretty well set and done. And if this happened with a man, their career would be over in this time and place. But for her, it's not. What I'm saying is, rape, no matter who it happens to, no matter who does it, it's wrong.
Of course.
And like, even this, especially this stuff too. Like, I don't know if you want to call it rape or sexual assault with like someone who has power over you. That's really bad. And I think that women, they're powerful and whatnot. But they're like men; they can do evil too.
Of course.
And as it shows, they can do some very deviant things. And yeah, it's just crazy that all this stuff is going on, and the men just tend to get they're forgotten about, or they're made into like enemies. They're made into like just these terrible people where it's shameful to be a man, but a woman you can do no wrong. But at least with this, it shows that sometimes women can do wrong, and not all women will do this sort of thing, but there are some that will. And as a man, you have to be careful. And if something like this happens to you, you got to report it. We got to have Me Too for men too.
Yeah, or are you becoming a menemist?
Menemist.
Yeah, I know. It's we're talking about memes. We're shit talking, but yeah, I think we covered that pretty well. But TLDR, don't demonize people and be open to the fact that anyone can commit evil. Doesn't matter their gender. It's equal opportunity here.
Yeah, there's a special place in hell for hypocrites.
Yep, and that's a perfect note to end it on. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.